If you clicked on this video, you're very likely already a fan of Dying Light and have played or watched the game online. Or you may be somebody who's looking to pick this game up and experience it for the first time and want to know if this game is good or not. Well, sit back, relax, and let's start from the beginning. In 2013, the zombie craze became stale and about everyone and their nan was making zombie games or shows. So on the 7th of June 2013, when a new trailer popped up called Dying Light, it showed it was about to attempt the never before done parkour zombie game. Or zombie parkour game. I don't know. Immediately, it gained everyone's attention as once again the spotlight was back on Techland for making such an amazing, intriguing trailer. Fast forward to 2024, however, the game has been out for almost a decade and is widely said to be one of the best zombie games out there even now. But how does it really hold up? Is it still fun, or does it feel like a clunky 2015 game that should be left in 2015? Well, join me on this journey to experience the beautiful but terrifying, deadly world of Harran and stick around to have those questions answered. Enjoy. Upon loading into Dying Light, you'll first lay your eyes on Kyle Crane. He is the protagonist and the person you play as through the entire game. When starting a new game, you have 4 different difficulty options ranging from easy to nightmare, although for your first playthrough, I would definitely recommend the normal difficulty. After selecting the difficulty and entering the game, you'll be chucked straight into a cutscene that takes place above Harran on a plane. You proceed to dive out of the plane and into Harran, where you'll immediately notice this breathtaking world with a beautiful sunset in the background. These views are cut short, however, because when you land you are immediately thrown into the action and start shooting these threatening men that ran up on you. You're saved by these 2 random people that fight off the infected. While trying to get away, sadly one of them dies and has to be left behind. Following those events, you're taken to the tower, which is where you take refuge in. You speak to a few people and complete a few tasks, and before you know it, you're given access to the beautiful playground that is Harran. That is as far as I'll go with explaining the beginning of the game because I want to do my best at avoiding spoilers for everyone. So, with that being said, let's jump in to the streets of Harran. Harran is one of those worlds that perfectly captures what would happen to the world if there was a zombie apocalypse. It combines its beautiful lighting with the destroyed, burned, zombie-filled environment. In 2015, no game had really done this kind of world before in a zombie game, and to do it this well was also unheard of. While the world may seem beautiful, once you step onto those streets, you witness the aftermath of the horror that unfolded. Broken buildings, cars on fire, and zombie-filled streets give you the sense of urgency to either scatter to the rooftops or take on the hordes of the undead. In the daytime, you roam the streets, completing missions, saving people, and taking on the world and all it has to offer. But in the nighttime, it's a whole other story. You have now become the prey. At nighttime, there are no lights. It's so dark you can barely see anything. You need to use your flashlight in order to see where you're going and survive. And you're not alone anymore. They're not just these easy to kill zombies that are very slow. These monsters now roam the streets around every single corner, ready to chase you. Onto a more lighter topic now. There is a lot to do in Dying Light outside of the main story. You have side quests, parkour and combat challenges, lootables, loads of secrets, and a ton to explore and discover for yourself. And of course, I can't talk about the game and all the things there is to do without talking about Stuffed Turtle. This is by far the best place to farm survivor ranks and legendary levels, and I find it quite funny because there is genuinely no other place that is as good and more efficient at farming these levels and XP than the Stuffed Turtle. You can actually become quite OP in the beginning if you jump straight in, and the very second you can start exploring, if you go to Stuffed Turtle and just keep running it for hours and hours and hours, you could get to your legend levels very, very quickly, which I find to be quite funny. But of course I couldn't leave that out of the video. I have to talk about the Stuffed Turtle. Dying Light has a huge arsenal of weapons and tools that you can use to take down zombies. Hammers, swords, bows, even guns, You name it and you can most likely use it as a tool to take down the undead. On top of all those weapons, you have the combat skill tree, which you can level by fighting zombies and then putting points into it to give you more abilities to help your survival. Upon completing the skill tree, you feel like God himself. You do way more damage than you did before, and you never run out of stamina, allowing you to swing to your heart's content. The combat itself, however, is snappy and fluid. Bashing a zombie's head in is incredibly satisfying, as you can hear the bones crack and watch the body parts fall off. The melee is obviously where the combat shines because that's what the game was built for. The guns and bows feel like more of an afterthought, but they still handle surprisingly well, so don't let that put you off of using them. And in the end, if you feel yourself still craving for more of that power when you swing your hammer or when you swing your sword, don't worry, because once you unlock those legend levels, you can even get more powerful by speccing into things like one-handed damage or two-handed damage or gun damage, allowing you to be more than God himself. It's crazy, and the mayhem you can cause when you are legend level 250 is so fun, and it just makes the grind feel worth it, although bear in mind it does take a very long time to get to legend level 250. Parkour in Dying Light is nothing short of amazing, and it's impossible to imagine the game without parkour. It's what made the game so unique. Mirror's Edge plus Dead Island, count me in for that. While it's not perfect, and the sequel definitely does parkour better in some ways, you feel amazing, breezing through the rooftops of Haran, and there's nothing out there like it, except the sequel, I guess. As it is for combat, you also have a skill tree for Parkour 2, allowing you to also gain new abilities and string together more combos for a more fluid, satisfying feeling. Upon reaching the end of the parkour skill tree, you basically have infinite stamina, and if you've maxed out your combat and parkour, you can now do both as much as you want, making your character insanely overpowered. Now, I've not shown much of the second location in the game because I want to keep that kind of a surprise for people, but for the sake of showing off the combat to the best it can be, I believe that you can only do that in Old Town. It's such a good location for the parkour, and it's the best way to showcase it. So conclusion. I have tried my best to touch upon most topics of Dying Light today in this video, but I've kept quiet about a few to keep it a surprise for any new player who is watching this and wants to jump into the game for the first time. Even almost a decade later, it's safe to say this game holds its own and is still a fantastic experience from start to end, even if you don't care about the story or anything like that. There is enough content here to keep you satisfied for potentially hundreds of hours, and the game also features a 4-player co-op mode along with a PvP mode that could easily keep you coming back even if you finished all the main game content. So to answer the question from the beginning, this is not a game to just leave in 2015. It's a game to play now, today, in 2024, which shows it's still one of the most unique and fun zombie experiences you'll have in a long time. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed any of the video you've just watched, please consider subscribing, commenting, or leaving a like. It's very much appreciated, and have a great day.